process all over again. Where'd he go?
Huh?
How you doing, you?
Morning.
Long couple days.
How are you?
Good,
We're getting
good.
there.
I'm Kris.
Getting there. I think you were here the other day, weren't you?
I wasn't here. Rick was here the other day.
Ah, okay.
I just want to pop in and see how things are going. Any response from the government?
No, we're hearing rumblings of a meeting, but I'm talking to Karen in there this morning, and she said, like, is it just a meeting for 5 minutes to say we're not offering you anything? Like, they need more confirmation than that, right? That's the truth.
So what time do you guys come up today?
Some of them were here all night and are still here. Some got here at 7. We came from a couple 2.5 hours away, so we got here around 8.
Okay.
Came from up Riverside Albert Way from the nursing home up there.
Right,
So,
right.
Are you regretting your decision with the binding arbitration?
Well,
I was wondering if you realized just how much you were going to impact us with that. I didn't know if you realized fully at the time that happened.
I think
what
the
it was
whole-
going to do.
The whole thinking for us behind it was to make sure that whatever the binding arbitrator comes out with, that there's some reasonable parameters around his decision.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, why not? What do you
But
mean?
why? We've been to binding arbitration before in this province without parameters.
Yes.
The only reason that Higgs doesn't want to go to binding arbitration without parameters is because they got slapped with 1251 back in 2014.
Right.
Because they don't want to freaking give us wage increases. We need to
Yeah.
live too.
Well, and I agree. And the biggest thing for us, and we've been saying all along, is the working conditions. We think the working conditions have to change. We said that from day one.
Right.
Well, the only way
But we can't
we're going to
keep
start working, changing
staff.
those conditions, exactly, is by
Can't keep
raising the
staff.
wages.
We can't
We
get
can't attract anybody into the
about
industry.
retention if you got a higher wage.
We get 10 and maybe 2 stay if we're lucky, because
Yeah.
they just can't for that workload.
Right.
For that wage, they're just not staying.
Yeah.
They're saying, screw this. We need to work somewhere easier than this. It's hard.
I know.
And they keep comparing us to the hospital, and there's no comparison. Hospital workers work really hard too, but in a different way.
Yeah.
But it's a home atmosphere. We're there with them 24/7. We're,
No, I get that, and I totally sympathize with that angle of it, and
So I wondered that went back when I saw it. I hadn't had an opportunity to
Yeah,
see it. If you had all regretted your
we
support of that.
we probably could have looked at it a little bit different, and to get the full scope of what exactly the sub amendment was going to, the impact it was going to have. But at the end of the day, it was all symbolic anyway.
Okay.
It's up to the
So
government
if you'd
to do
known
what
this
the
was going to
government
carry on
needs
this
to do.
long, would you have done things differently back then?
Well, I don't know because again, my job is to make sure that things are done fairly, and that at the end of the day, there's some reasonable expectations around how this all unfolds. I've said
Do
from
you
the
think
start,
it's
our
reasonable and it's
expectations are
fair?
unreasonable?
I think 20% is.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've not ever actually heard that that's an official number that came from our people.
That's the number we were given, right, from the top. So, and again, an increase for your lower end workers, I would agree. Working conditions, if things can be done there, and I can tell you what we've been doing from the start, and we'll continue to do, is advocate for the government to come a little bit closer to the middle, and try to get some resolution to it. So
Yeah.
I did want to combine, just say hi, and
So you're realizing now they're not budging even a little bit?
doesn't seem. Now the latest report I heard is they do have an offer now.
An
that they're-
enhanced offer. They're saying
Yeah.
there's an enhanced offer on the
So
table.
what does that
Our
mean?
people haven't heard anything
Well, that's
about
what we'd
any
like to
offer.
know.
There's
no
no
offer.
offer on the
There's
table.
no offer on the table.
That's just for the newspapers to get the public opinion out there, right? That's the thing that's so unfair, right?
Right. Yeah.
They
No,
can
fair
put some
enough.
information out there, and the poor people that don't know any better are believing it.
Stop holding him up.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
So
I'm
okay.
glad you came by.
Yes.
It was
Thank
nice
you.
to talk with you.
Good to see you, folks.
You too. You too.
Hey, Aiden, how you doing? Good to see you.
So why did you come out today?
Well, I just want to come out and talk to some of these folks. I know they've undergone a lot of, frustration over the last several weeks. So see how they're doing and how the process is coming along.
So you said that the 20% increase, you think that's unreasonable?
Yeah, I do. I think there's got to be some middle ground there to be able to get, a reasonable increase for these folks. And I think more importantly than wages is the working conditions. I've been to nursing homes around the province, and you've got a lot of these staff that are working, a whole floor by themselves for several residents. It's not only bad for them, it's bad for the residents. So I certainly see certain angles of their plight for sure.
So somewhere between, I think the government's before said 4%, so somewhere between 4% and 20%.
Well, that's it. And again, when you talk about some of the PSWs that are making $18 an hour, $19 an hour, I think that's not reasonable. When you've got certain LPNs that have been working there for a long time, they deserve a reasonable wage as well. So, again, we think there's going to be some middle ground to these things and come to some resolution.
Thanks.
Good. Okay, thanks, folks.
Supporting us. How are you?
You haven't said a word. That's not unlike you, Charles. What's going on?
He's talking right here. He's talking right here.
I'll get you later. I'll hunt you down later.
Right on. See ya.
You going inside?
Can we go inside?
Go inside.
Huh?
Go inside.
Are you going inside?
I'm gonna try.
Okay, I'm gonna come back. Good luck.
Sorry about that, Lisa.
I think I know the answer, but can I come in? Nobody at all. Okay. Is the minister in today? She's not in today. Okay. What if I had to get to elections in Brunswick? Okay. Okay, thank you. That's okay, you're doing your job.
Do you want me to text them to see if they can come to the boss and talk to you?
So, Kris,
Yes.
what do you think about that?
Well, I think we need some resolution to this. This has been going on long enough. I think, you know, both parties have to come to the table and get some agreement on this. At the end of the day, you know, I've set it aside there with these folks. The working conditions are not acceptable. You know, these people are working, you know, more than they should. But there is a human resource issue there too that affects that. But at the same time, it's about middle ground, right? I mean, you've got to come somewhere in the middle, and that's what we've been pushing for.
And today they just said that minister would call them, just one call, talk to them, and they're gonna come out. So how do you think should the minister talk to them today?
Sorry, can you say?
The minister, they said that they're gonna come out if the minister pick up the phone and talk to them. She hasn't done that yet.
Well, this isn't the way to do it. I mean, if the minister came here, it would just be probably a shit show, right? So what we need some serious negotiations. We need the minister, we need C.U.P.E in a room, hammering this out and getting it done. This isn't the way to do it. For the minister to come here, I'm saying, and to try to have some negotiations here is not the way to do it.
But do you think she should call them today? Like,
Well,
if she called them, they said they're gonna leave.
What I've been saying and what I've been working with government for weeks is to come out with something, put something on the table, and let the members vote on it. That's what needs to happen. That's what we've been saying for a long time. We're going to continue to say that. So until that happens, yes, we're going to continue to advocate that the minister, the premier, and the nursing home association gets with these folks and hammers in an agreement.
Yesterday, Rick Desaulniers came and he was blocked at the door like yourself, so you knew what was.
Oh yeah, I knew.
So why did you come?
Well, I wanted to talk to these folks, and these guys are out here, you know, trying to raise this issue and get a better feel for where they're at, and you know, again, try to get some common ground here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are they?
They're coming down.
They're coming down.
Yeah, they said just hang tight for a second.
On va parler à la dame dehors. Quand les gens vont nous
Who has a bigger frog in his throat, him or me? Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Oh, but a French accent in front of when he speaks English drives me crazy. So, sorry. Anyway, I had to say that. So, what are you doing here?
Just seeing how the folks are doing, what the...
You're here because you saw the video of me with Rick.
Yeah, Rick was here. I talked to Rick yesterday.
You want to
he was here.
be here.
Oh, I had to come see Charles, of course.
Yeah, be here for. You gotta have. When they go like that there, with that.
Hey, she's doing her job.
Oh,
she does her job well.
She scares me.
That's good. That's the point,
I know. I gotta wash myself. So the bottom line here, explain again when you stood up in the House and with the binding arbitration. A lot of people don't know what that means, including me. What exactly did you do? Are you anti-union or not? Or what's going on?
So what we said from the start was, first of all, C.U.P.E and government, Nursing Home Association, they have to come out with an agreement. Get this done, right? Get to the table, get it done. If that fails, we supported binding arbitration with reasonable parameters around it.
What reasonable?
Well, I don't think an arbitrator should be looking at wages in Alberta to compare with wages in New Brunswick. I think they should be looking at Brunswick, PEI, Nova Scotia, public, private sector, reasonable requirements, right? That's all that we said. That's what the sub-amendment stated. got blown out to say that, you know, we're against binding arbitration. We're not against binding arbitration. We just want some reasonable parameters around it to make sure that these folks get a reasonable outcome and the taxpayers get a
I think
reasonable
when that woman is
outcome.
here that playing Hazen said, in Alberta, they make $10 more or whatever. Then they said, we'll move to Alberta. But you can't compare Alberta.
No, I know,
Their
that's
rent
what
in
I'm
Alberta
saying, but that's my point.
$1,500
That's the point of the sub-amendment, right? That's all we're saying is, you know, and again, you look at some of the workers that are on the lower end of the scale, you know, the PSW, some of them, my understanding is make $18, $19 an hour. They've got a hard job, so look, if we can do something for them, but putting wages aside, it's the working conditions. It's the fact that you've got some of these folks that are working an entire floor by themselves with 18, 19 plus residents. To me, it's affecting them as employees, and importantly, it's affecting the residents that aren't getting the reasonable amount of care. So it's a complex issue. You can look at human resources, the fact that, you know, government says there's not enough nurses, there's not enough people to fill these positions. I don't know, it's a big issue.
Look at you, all the people you gotta deal with. People like me and people all around you, you're riding. Can you imagine taking care of them in a old folks home?
Yeah,
That
no.
they're grouchy,
It's
they
a
don't know what
tough
they're doing. They're more grouchy than me, and it's bad.
Is that possible?
Yeah,
No.
it is. But I mean, these people are unsung
know.
heroes.
I know, I agree.
They're on the front line.
Yep.
They see what's going on. All good thing must come to an end. Okay, can you talk to me about your raise you got there, LAC
Oh, for the
committee?
love of God.
Yeah, love of
Listen.
God. You want people, you know,
Nobody-
for restraint and everything.
Okay, so
put
you
some
want to get
raise.
an answer?
Go ahead.
I never got 5 cents more in any raise. That's just, listen, people read a headline, they think, oh,
You're trying to tell me it's
politicians
fake news?
are- Well, I'm telling you, I didn't get a raise. I can
didn't
tell
get
you
a raise,
that.
okay.
What I did was we increased the constituency budget so we can pay our secretaries a reasonable amount. You can't expect to pay someone $14, $15 an hour to do the job that they're doing, right? So he said, pay them a reasonable amount, give a little bump to the constituency office. I'm not getting 1 red cent of it. So there you have it.
Yeah. So how come people are upset?
They read a headline. They read a headline.
So how come media don't get their facts straight?
Oh, media, don't get me started on the media.
Yeah, I know, sir. But we could spend $750,000 to the language commissioner. And we can't get money here.
Yeah. Well, you know what I do with that?
Okay. Oh, here they come. Okay.
So can
Part
they,
two.
if they come out, can they
They
get
come
back
out.
in?
No, you'll talk to them.
So we're gonna talk through the window.
Through the window.
Okay. Hi Sharon. How you folks doing in there?
You're not allowed in. Can we open it up?
Surprise, surprise.
The liberals were allowed in yesterday.
Is that true?
Stephen Horseman.
Yesterday as well.
Were the liberals in here yesterday?
Yes. You want the name? Horseman was in.
Stephen Horseman.
And the Harvey was in.
In past these doors?
Yeah, inside the door.
And not
Okay.
only- Not only them,
David Coon.
David Coon.
All right, then if all of those parties were allowed
Okay.
in, then Mr. Austin has to be allowed in.
So can you explain that?
In North, came Kevin in to give us a call
Okay.
the day before.
I'll be in.
So
I'll,
that's not acceptable.
I'm trying to have a conversation. So, you know, unfortunately, these cameras are
Listen,
here. You and
if I give you this camera
Yep.
when you go in, when you continue, I trust you. That's good for you.
I don't know if I can do that.
right.
I'll have to ask Mr.
Oh,
Austin.
I'll give it to him.
You should be allowed in where every other party was allowed.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
So the food got across yesterday from Greg, but Greg wasn't able to.
Thank you for the food.
Yes.
Like you've done it food.
Yeah, okay, I'll let them know. So I'm sure once they talk to their managers, I'll come in and have a
Be able
chat.
to have a conversation, I respect the media.
Yeah.
But this is sensitive,
Mhm.
we're gonna have conversations that we don't have to worry about,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so where are you guys? You're upstairs, what floor?
Upstairs, third floor.
Second floor? So once they get the okay, I'll come in. Okay?
Listen, you gotta have the okay. If I give her, I trust you. I trust you. I'll give her the camera. This is non-stop. It's been going on for 14 minutes. Do you mind? Do you mind? Do you mind if I go on camera to film? She said it's up to you.
The only thing is I got 11 o'clock. I gotta go to 11 o'clock and then I'll have to come back.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Here. Over you. Here, bring that with you, Kris.
No, I'm not doing it.
We're not doing that.
No.
I'm his communications director and I have to be in there with him.
Just let him, yeah, they didn't let the communication. No, just him. Sorry.
Ooh. Ooh. Hey.
Yeah, that's a weird call.
He should have held the camera. Then he had. I could just imagine what's going on in there.
Somebody's gonna go upstairs, you guys. Just go to security, just knock on the door, security.
Are you going through here?
I was gonna send the text stuff.
Okay, I'll send him a photo.
Sharon, get out of the way.
Nice to
You say he has an 11 o'clock?
Yes. I'd rather be out here, it's the mayor, because in there I did a little testing. It's like that. I don't have enough patience for.
Well, we were talking about it yesterday. It was like, it's gonna all be over.
It's funny what happens when the sun goes away, huh? What are you doing here?
I'm supporting. What's it look like I'm doing here?
You should have clear cut when you come here, you know.
Have what?
Clear cut, you know.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. Oh, wow. Fuck you. There we go.
That's
There we
right.
go. Yeah, okay. I'm surprised you didn't make me swallow this camera.
Well, there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mr. Austin went inside and
What's he saying?
It's so funny they won't allow his assistant, so I got this camera on. It's 17 minutes now, and I said, that's what I mean. I said, Kris, here's my camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's my camera. I don't care. Here's my camera. I don't care who films.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that. Now he's surrounded by 5 executives. They didn't let his assistant in.
Oh, yeah.
So God knows what he's going to say, but we're going to stick around and find out.
Never really know what he's going to say. That's the problem.
I know. Watch what you say. Got the camera on.
Yeah.
That's too
Oh,
funny.
this is all foolishness. Absolute foolishness. They should have the street blocked down. What they should have.
Well, that's the way.
You know.
That's the way it used to be. Do you know why there's by the way, Mr. Union Man, do you know why, since we're waiting for Mr. Austin, do you know why there's an anti-scab law in Quebec?
In Quebec, because probably Quebec would be smarter than we are.
Nope.
No,
Oh, that's not the answer I'm looking for.
not the answer.
You know why? The reason there's an anti-scab law in Quebec, you remember, you're as old as me. That's one of the reasons they put the union leaders in there. The reason there's an anti-scab law. Remember there was a Robin Hood plant strike in the 70s?
Yeah.
And there's a big guard, a big beer belly with a mask and shot dead.
Oh, is that
A
right?
striker. And then they had an inquiry and they said if there wasn't, it would have been an anti-scab law in place, this would have never happened. That's why it's there. Now you know the
Now
rest
I know the rest of the story. Well,
That's what you need here, somebody to get killed until people act. But now
Well, I
the
know
Irvings is the government.
I know that my wife's father was a hard rock miner, unionized, and he worked in Sudbury, Ontario. And in the years the strikes were so violent there one year that he sent his wife and 5 children to Nova Scotia to be safe. And he felt that there was going to be violence on the line up there. So, I mean, you can't have violence. That's not right.
But people say enough is enough. Then they come here, and then you have the, let's see that for a second here, this one, then you have this. We deserve better, but to get better, they got to do the sacrifice.
Well, no. And the government that doesn't listen. The government proposed by what Irving wants to do. And
The Liberals were here yesterday. Isn't that sweet? All the Liberals were all here crying with them.
Oh, yeah.
And then next thing you know, when they're in power,
Yeah.
the same thing. The Conservative will come here, cry.
Yeah.
It's funny how the system works, huh?
Well, the Liberals never dealt with this all the time. Higgs could have solved this very quickly. All he had to do was go into this right from the get-go and say, I'll tell you what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have the arbitrating committee come in. My wife and I will come cook pancakes and everything for you, and then we're going to get out of the room and you people go at her and let free world and free justice prevail. He could have gained a lot of posts, a lot of picks, and he would have had the next election. Right now he's lost.
But do you know what a bureaucrat calls a politician?
No.
Temporary help. That's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It's the bureaucrats that decides. It's not the politicians. Get mad at the politician, but it's the bureaucrats. Oh, here we go.
That's right.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Right. Morning, bud.
Hey, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Ah, my old buddy. How you doing? So how did it go anyway?
Well, it was.
Now, hold it. You don't listen to political advisors. You're too good. I don't even charge you for this. The next time something like this happened, and I said, "Here's my camera. Take it." It was 5 or 6 against your word, and your assistant, which I'm terrified of. He wasn't allowed in.
No, but to be fair though, Charles, the problem with all this stuff is there's too many cameras around. They need to get in the closed room between C.U.P.E and the government and hammer this stuff out. That's the problem. Is it becomes this media spectacle, and nobody wins in the end on that. It's great entertainment to watch, but it doesn't benefit the province.
Okay, so what we're said in there is going to be your word against 7 of them.
Well, no, it was just a discussion on.
Oh, by the way, you're a former pastor, so you're honest. Go ahead.
Well, I try to be, I guess. But no, I mean it was just a discussion around where they're at, and I wanted to know if government had offered anything to them, and they said they hadn't received any offers. So that's going to change. That's going to be the first thing that's going to change. I said to the government, put a package out, let them vote on it. Call for a vote among the members, put it out as best you can, and let the chips fall where they may. I don't know why they're not doing that. I don't know what the holdup is. It's a little frustrating.
And if the Liberals come in here and cry, and then if the Liberal were in power, the Conservative will come and cry.
It's laughable. The stuff, the antics that she's put in there is laughable. I said, it's good entertainment, but it's just a bunch of bullshit. There's come on.
Well, you're in the opposition, but she's taking it. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Come on, Lisa. I gotta have a talk with that girl. It's crazy. And when you're in the opposition, she reminds me of Elizabeth Weir. Remember her?
Right. Well, not really.
Anyway, she was it's now disgusting. So another thing, you as a former pastor, I tackle what's his name, Kevin Arsenault.
Okay.
The prayer.
Yeah.
Well, what's your view on that one?
Well, I think my view on that one. I think those folks in the legislature need more prayer, but that's just my.
No, did they say that they want everybody to be involved, different religion? I tackled him there last week. I haven't posted a video yet.
At the end of the day, the majority of New Brunswickers have some Judeo-Christian heritage. Whether they're practicing, whether or not, it's a part of the tradition of the province. And what bothers me is we are expected to change all of our traditions and heritage for what? You know what I mean? We lose the very foundation of what we're built on. I don't know. Like to me, it won't change if I have anything to do with it. I'll just put it to you that way.
And we need prayers the way things are going now. It's getting worse.
It's not like anybody's handcuffing anybody to go in there and say the Lord's Prayer. You don't want to say it, stay out. Come in when it's done. Whatever.
So Rita Saunier came here yesterday. Put her on there, and my God, I was shocked. Thousands and thousands of views. You come here, I start filming. I had to keep my mouth shut for 10 minutes. That drove me crazy. How much you guys gonna pay me for all this publicity? Non-edited.
That's the beauty of it.
Non-edited. No, your sister never said a goddamn. I'm terrified of her anyway. That's why she's on staff. Were you surprised they wouldn't allow her inside?
No, I suppose they've got to keep a tight lid on it. And, try to keep the chaos out of the building.
I better have some time alone with you. Okay.